Hey, welcome back to the channel. So you've got one of those, one of these, and you want to make some of this. Yeah. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you the equipment that I've purchased and what works for me through the hours and dozens of tests that I've run trying to get this thing up and running. Your experience is probably going to be different, so keep that in mind. Let's go take a look at some of the stuff I've bought to start up my Moto Vlog channel. After the bike, the first thing you need is a helmet. And as you've seen in my videos, I wear a half helmet, which makes audio difficult. But I do have the helmet mount from GoPro mounted on the side of it, and you can see my Cena unit. That'll come in handy when I'm doing some explanations later. Next up, you need a camera. Obviously I'm recording with my GoPro, so here's an empty box. Beyond that, you need the media mod or an aftermarket case with the GoPro mic adapter. You need a microphone. I'm currently using the Purple Panda. It's a lapel mic and I've put the dead cat on it. I'll show how to set that up later. There's the box that the helmet front and side mount comes in. And then my favorite, this one saved me a ton of time and I've already done a review video on it, but this is the smart remote. It's awesome. In addition, I bought all this crap. So I've got the handlebar mount, the large mount, the jaws clamp, which I actually have used a few times, supercharger, and I have a dual battery charger as well, and the three-way, which I've used for, I think, one video so far. Yeah, the truck video where I was washing my truck and did a time lapse. I also like carrying a case because I have spare batteries, a spare ancient camera just in case, extra mounts, and I can keep my handlebar and large bar mounts in here as well. So the case makes it pretty handy to carry all your stuff with you. Also, if it starts to rain, I carry my factory back door for the GoPro in a bag. So I can put that back on. All that can go in the bin. Let's get it set up. All right, you've got everything assembled that you need. Now comes the setup. As you've seen, helmet mount on the side of the camera. You can put it on top or in front, but I like a side mount because it makes the viewer, you, feel like you're riding along behind me. So I like that camera view. Let's get the microphone set up. With your lapel mic in hand, you notice it's got a clip on the back of it. We're gonna clip that to the collar of my shirt and have it just outside the shirt like this. When you put your riding jacket on, and you're wearing a riding jacket, right? It'll go over that and you zip it up fully, which comes up to about here on you, and it will create much better audio than anything else that I've found. Early on in my testing, I used the microphone attached to my Cena boom mic, and I even tried recording the Cena boom mic to my phone and then syncing it up in the editor, but both of those did not work well at all. For some reason, having the microphone here picks up great audio, especially if you have a fared motorcycle like my Street Glide. Okay, let's lay out the experiment. We got 3 bikes, Street Glide, KZ, and the Bobber. For each of those, I'm gonna do an audio test at a stoplight, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60 miles an hour, assuming I can find roads around here where that's not breaking the speed limit. So, let's begin the test. Something else I thought about before we go out for a ride, you're gonna wanna have a computer and some editing software as well. I use DaVinci Resolve, but you're free to use whatever you like, but it is kind of required for this. All right, let's go get on the bikes. Here's what the KZ sounds like at a stoplight. $10 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, and 60 miles an hour. Each time I had to raise my voice so that you could hear me. Now we're at a stoplight again. What'd you think? How does that audio sound? It's okay, right? Till 35, 40 miles an hour.
After that, the wind noise just takes over because there's no fairing. So let's go switch bikes. All right, same busy stoplight as before on the KZ. Now we're on the bobber, as you can tell. And yeah, this is what I sound like at a stoplight. So here's 10 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, and 60 miles an hour. I've had to raise my voice each time just to hear myself over the wind noise. So hopefully you hear that too. Already you should notice some differences in the footage between the KZ and this bobber. The KZ is an inline 4-cylinder, and I think it's a little bit quieter than this bike, but the engine noise on this V-twin shows up really high pitched in the audio on the footage I record with it. Let's get back and swap out for the street glide. All right, here we are at a stoplight, the same one as before, but this time we're on my Mac Daddy street glide. Okay, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're at the same stoplight as before, but now we're on my street glide. Let's do an audio test. 0 to 60 on this thing. Here we go. There's 10 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour. Okay, so now we've done our audio test. You've listened to all 3 bikes and you've seen my setup. So let's get back and compare notes.
All right, so we started out on the KZ. We listened to that audio. Then we did some audio tests on the bobber here. And finally, we hopped on the street glide. So what did you think? Which one sounded the best? Obviously it was the street glide. Otherwise this video wouldn't exist because I wouldn't have gotten good enough audio to do any of this moto vlogging anyway. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you got something out of it, leave it a like, comment below, and please consider subscribing. Keep the shiny side up and have a great day.
This bike is good to about 35 or 40 miles an hour, at which point the audio turns to crap and you can no longer hear